So welcome everybody to tonight's Mickleham Primary School information session. We're going to be talking with you about the designs for this lovely new school facilities, and sharing our architect's design ideas. We're going to hear a little bit from Julie, your principal, tonight, and we're going to hear from some of the people doing lovely works on your roads around you. So I'll start with an acknowledgement to country. We'd like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri people as traditional custodians of the land on which Mickleham Primary School has been built. In the spirit of reconciliation, the Victorian School Building Authority acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respect to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. Just a little bit of housekeeping. You'll all notice as you've come in that your cameras and microphones have been turned off, and they will stay that way for the duration of the presentation. This is just to allow our speakers an opportunity to present the material that they've prepared for you. We will use the chat function. Hopefully lots of you are familiar with that in Zoom. We'll use that to answer as many questions as we can during the presentation, and any that we don't get to tonight, we will endeavour to get through to you via the school. We'll probably be putting together a little bit of a fact sheet about the school and the modernisation and some of the answers to your questions. So leave that with us and we will get that through to you. And we're just, as a bit of a summary, the Victorian Government has invested $28.92 million to upgrade Mickleham Primary School. And this funding will allow for the expansion of the school and construction of 2 new learning centres and an administration building. The project will also include a new hardcourt, restoration of the existing oval with a new surface and landscaping. I'd like to hand over to Julie now to talk to you about the excitement that hopefully is starting to build around the school and what this project means to you all. And then we'll have a little presentation from our architects to follow that. Thanks, Julie, all yours.
Thanks, Leanne. I'm just going to read from some notes that I've made and just try to capture the excitement, as you mentioned, that we are all feeling. Since 1865, children have been learning at Mickleham Primary School, and whilst we may not have anyone connected with the original families, we certainly have several multi-generational families and staff. There is something special and unique about our community, and I know lots of people say that, but it's really, really true at Mickleham. Over the years, many people who are present in this meeting have been involved in trying to improve and enhance the facilities available to our children and staff. This persistence and resilience has been rewarded. We are already well on the way to having very beautiful learning environments for your children, inside and outside. At the moment, there's lots of noise and activity, and I'm sure the children come home and tell you. I know some parents have been talking about the children waiting for the building to come down. Well, it's finally come down. The tennis court building is gone, so you can report that if they haven't already. And that just allows us to keep right on moving. But there's a lot of activity on the building site at the moment. We've worked very closely with the architects to plan learning spaces that are modern and sympathetic to the needs of all learners and their teachers. In addition to classrooms, we will have a new library space, art room or studio, and STEM space. Our Bluestone building will be dedicated to performing arts. We have all spent as much time on the outside spaces as ensuring that the learning spaces are perfect. Our children will have the benefit of a site with established trees and a long history, with a frog environment and gardens with everything from heirloom apple trees to butterfly attracting flowers and microbat nesting sites. Our buildings are going to bear the names of native plants, and our outdoor learning spaces will include yarning circles and friendship seats. The children will also have a level oval space for possibly the first time ever. In short, our children and staff are going to have an engaging and stimulating learning environment. The teachers are already very busy preparing for a smooth transition to our new buildings. On behalf of our community, I would really like to thank the many, many people who have spent already long hours in the design and planning for the present and future Mickleham Primary School students. Thanks very much, and you're going to hear from several of those people tonight. So thank you very, very much for everything that you're doing and for our beautiful new buildings. Thanks, Leanne. You're on mute, Leanne.
Thank you, Julie. That was absolutely lovely. Now, I just would like to talk through a few of our construction timelines with you all. So as you know, and as I'm sure your children have told you, construction started earlier this year, and the main building works are forecast to be complete by term 1 of 2023. The works to deliver the hardcourt, restoration of the existing oval and the landscaping are anticipated to continue into 2023. As you can see from my little slide there, we follow all the rules, we work within the local government regulations, and we do our best to keep everybody happy as we go. But as I'm sure you can understand, building a school like this does have some disruptions, and we'll do our best to manage those for you. I would now like to hand you over to our architects who have designed this wonderful school for you, and you can hear a presentation from them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Leanne, and thank you, Julie, for those words. I'll just share my screen. So hopefully everyone can see that. So just firstly, so I'm Amanda Rippon and we have Claire Barclay here from Law Architects. Just to give you a bit of a background about Law. So we're a second generation education firm. We specialise in education and community-based facilities. So basically projects like Mickleham, this is what we do, and this is our passion. So the plan that you can see here, this is a new site plan. And just to give you all a bit of orientation of what you can see here. So north is up the page. You have Mickleham Road sitting here, the existing intersection here, Mount Ridley Road, some future roads. So there's one to the east here and one to the south. Also just mentioning the existing school at the moment, and what I'll call the existing fence line or title. So that is this zone within here. So as part of this project and in order to get these new facilities, this neighbouring site has been purchased to allow this to happen. And Leanne has mentioned the demolition of those tennis-based facilities. So this used to be council neighbouring land. There are a few fantastic existing assets to the site that we've obviously wanted to keep. So I'll just mention what they are. So we've got the existing bluestone building, which has some heritage significance, and some fantastic existing gum trees also that we're trying to maintain as many of those as we possibly can. We are obviously constructing a lot of buildings, so a small amount of those have had to be removed. But yeah, we understand how important it is, and a lot of those will be maintained. So what you're looking at here will be the final outcome once everything is constructed. Claire from Law Architects is going to talk about these buildings in a bit further detail. So we're going to show you some plans for those. But just to mention what they are. So we have the administration and specialised learning building here. We have two learning buildings. They are the same building, so they are the same footprint. They just have a different orientation. Two relocks up here towards the north. Now at the moment they're located over here and they're going to come across to this new site. We have a new playing field that Julie has mentioned, a hardcourt zone, play zones that we'll talk about in further detail as well. So I've just mentioned there that existing bluestone building and some existing facilities that will stay as part of this zone too. So I will let Claire talk about the next one. So this is a plan of the administration and some specialised learning facilities.
Thanks, Amanda. Yes, so we're looking at the admin, which is the building located most southern. If we look over to the right-hand side where Amanda's pointing, that's the main entry to the school for all visitors, parents and guardians. So you come through an airlock into the foyer and reception area. So that's where you'll be signing in and signing out students and greeting any staff there. On the other side of that wall that you can see in the middle is the student foyer. So there's a secure line between those two foyers, and the students would access that from inside the school grounds and behind a secure fence. So any time that students need to leave, they have to be checked out via reception. There's also a little meeting space there as part of that reception area, which is available for any small group consults or visitors meetings. As we go back into back of the admin area, you'll see there's a series of offices. So that's where Julie and her staff will be. There's staff preparation spaces for their resourcing, staff room as well, staff lounge back there. Coming from the north side is a corridor that the students and staff can access to get to toilets. So there's separate student toilets and separate staff toilets in there, and they'll be securely accessed, able to be accessed at lunchtime. If we keep stepping over to the left, coming in from the lovely play space outside into a veranda space, which is nice and sheltered, we have the specialist learning facilities. So we've got in there the library. The library is connected to the staff space via an operable wall. So that's a big pinboard panel which can slide back in times of events or exhibitions or assemblies, things like that, to create a really lovely large space out of hours as well. As we keep traveling across, you've got the art space and the STEAM or science space. You might be able to see tiny little arrows there between the spaces. So we've got these large glazed sliding panels, which are large doors, which are acoustically sealed as well. So those rooms can operate either in a completely separate way, or they can open up and become a lovely large space for any type of, as I said, exhibition, you know, any sort of other teaching mode where they could maybe be doing art and STEAM together or something like that. At the back there, there's also some further resource storage and office space for the staff. That's just for all of the art equipment and science equipment, all of the lovely stuff that helps support those spaces. I might step in now to the learning building. So as Amanda said before, there's two of this building, so we'll only go through one. They're the same in their footprint. So if we come in from the left-hand side this time, so that veranda that you're seeing there is right next to that lovely tree line, that existing tree line with all the big, beautiful gum trees, lots of natural shade and lovely outlook there. You can come in through into that yellow zone you see in the middle, which we're calling the informal learning zone, which is a spine that sort of connects all of these classroom spaces. Each of the blue rooms that you see there, there's 8 of those. They're classrooms which cater to 25 students each. They can function both as standalone classrooms, completely closed off acoustically, or again, very similar to the other building, you'll see those little sliding doors. So they're glass doors. They can either be fully closed or they can be fully open, depending on the way the school would like to operate that class at the time. And, you know, we've heard from Julie that there's lots of different class sessions, things like reading, where the students are moving around, and it's a really nice way to offer breakout spaces. And we've found this to be a more successful way to sort of run that flexible, adaptable, modern learning environment. Gives lots of different opportunities for types of curriculum and teaching. In the center of this building, in the purple, you'll see what we're calling the Discovery Hub. Again, lots of lovely outlook to outdoor learning, veranda, connection to gardens and sheltered spaces. And that Discovery Hub, we've split into 2 sort of key zones. So on the left-hand side there, you see that little island floating. That's sort of a multimedia space, and that furniture piece is little seating stage. Podium can be used for lots of different things depending on what the class is doing. And then on the right-hand side, there's a little bench there with a sink. It's a wet area, maker space, messy, so, you know, get the kids out of those classrooms into a different sort of teaching mode. All the way over to the right-hand side there's 2 small group spaces or withdrawal spaces. Gives opportunity for either, you know, small group learning, one-on-one support with a teacher, any sort of breakout, or for staff to do their resource planning sessions and things like that. There is a staff room in each of these buildings as well, so a way for the staff to do their out of class time work and preparation for the classes. And then we've also got, where Amanda's pointing there, student toilets in both of these buildings. There's no staff toilets in these buildings, they're student toilets only. They're all standalone individual compartments, and they can be accessed either at lunchtime or during class time. It means the students don't have to leave the building completely to be able to go to the toilet. So it's good supervision there. I think we'll move on to the next slide. So what we're looking at here is a cut through one of the learning buildings. So it's in section. And we're looking here at our sort of environmental principles and environmentally sustainable design ideas. So while this is the learning building, the same principles apply both to these 2 buildings as well as the admin building. We've got these lovely large volumes throughout the spaces. We've got these high level windows which run along that volume, and they are openable as well electronically, which means you can get lovely cross flow, natural ventilation through all of these buildings. And that is still supported by reverse cycle heating and cooling for those days that natural ventilation just doesn't cut it when it's too hot or cold. The passive solar, so as we've mentioned, those verandas that kind of surround those learning spaces and making sure there's enough shade and shelter from sun and wind on those lovely Melbourne winter days or hot days that we get. So lots of natural shade there. You'll see in the middle, we've got those trusses, the large timber elements there, which gives a visual connection to nature as well, and that idea of warmth and tactility, natural materials, which is really important and part of our design ethos. And that carries through generally to other materials. So lots of natural color palettes and tones and tactile sort of materials throughout both buildings. And I guess finally, I also like to mention just that visual connection to nature, and we're all very aware of trying to get outside as much as possible and be connected to outside. So really maximizing that, you know, the amount of windows and openable spaces so that the students can have lots of opportunity to be learning outside or connected to outside at all times. And something that I think Leanne will also run through in a bit more detail is that there is also mains recycled water for the site, which is used for irrigation. So I might pass it back to Amanda. We're just now going to run through some more 3D images, probably something you're a bit more interested in, and then we'll pass it back to Leanne.
Yep, great. Thank you, Claire. So this is an aerial perspective of the full site. Again, I'll just give you some orientation so you can work out where you are. This is Mickleham Road here, the intersection up here, Mount Ridley Road sitting here, proposed Eastern Road here, and the proposed Southern Road there. Now, the full site is going to be re-landscaped. There's going to be 2 new entry points to the school, and they will be off the new roads. So I'll just point those out down through here and up through here as well. So we're trying to really move away from those too busy existing roads, which was an important aspect. In terms of a few key landscape elements that I'll just mention, outdoor gathering and learning opportunities, the spaces out here for waiting for students. Fence line is kind of sitting through here, and you can see within these spaces, these are different opportunities for kind of outdoor learning to happen, which have connections to the learning spaces that Claire has mentioned. There are a couple of formalised play elements that are happening in terms of play equipment. So we have the junior play equipment sitting over here, and more the senior play equipment element sitting there. There is a sealed ball court, which is here, and a sealed running track, which runs around the outside of it. At the end here is a long jump pit, or sand pit, you could also call it. Julie has also mentioned that there's a frog habitat that sits in here as well. So that's happening too, which is great. There are some outdoor covered spaces as well that Claire has mentioned too. So I'll just re-mention those. So north being up here. So this here is the admin building. So there's those covered verandas that are happening here. And I'll just go back to the plans as well in a sec, but just mention those are sitting over here within each building. So I'll just go back up here to the plan. So you can see this dashed line sitting here. So that is all covered. So down through here, this would be about 2 meters, and then about 3 meters where we really want to encourage that outdoor learning to happen, which, you know, it might be on a rainy day or it might be particularly hot. So that obviously helps. And this is the learning building, just to mention again that we do have these covered spaces, and again, deeper where we really want to encourage that outdoor learning to happen. I'll just go back to the aerial, and just mentioning as well, we do have shade sail elements to the play equipment zones. Fencing, so the full site is fenced and secure. Where we have the new kind of proposed roads, we are kind of setting the fence back a little bit to create more of a landscape buffer and ensure that you know, the school has an inviting appearance to the street. Also mentioning that there is a bike parking and storage which happens in here, being close to the entry point to really kind of encourage that to happen. I'll head to the next view. This one, people would have seen this in the background to this presentation. So this is the front elevation of the administration building. So on the left-hand side there, you can see the Mickleham Primary School signage. This here is the main kind of public entry point. You can get a bit of a glimpse there of the reception, different opportunities to be waiting out here, and different seating elements. You can see the fence line sitting in here. So there's some double gates here. So prior to school, they would be open. So obviously everyone can come into the school. They would then be closed during school hours, and then at the end of the day, they would open up again. You can see in the background here, so that's one of the learning buildings. So this view here, this is the STEAM room. So you might recall this is the end room within the administration building. So this is just looking out towards the north. So you can see here the veranda within the background. That's the junior play equipment sitting there. Claire has mentioned these timber trusses that you can just see here, which adds that warmth to the space. So that gives you a bit of an idea of what they will look like. And this neighbouring space here is the art room. And Claire has mentioned prior these large sliders that get retracted. So that is what they look like. The next view is of the learning building, which Claire's just going to talk about.
Yep, thank you. So we're standing currently in the informal learning area over to the western side, the left-hand side of that plan that we showed. So what you can see here is a variety of those classroom spaces using those sliding doors in different ways. So starting from the left, you can see one that's sort of, you know, half and half, semi-closed, semi-open. The one in the middle there is fully closed off. So that's a, you know, acoustically sealed space. And over to the right, you see there's two classrooms which have opened all of their doors. They're fully connected and they're spilling out into that informal learning space. Throughout all of these spaces, in both buildings, we've got acoustic treatment. So you see that grey band running around the top of that clear story atrium pop up there. That's basically a pin board with an additional sort of absorption layer for acoustics. You see the perforated ceilings there as well. That's acoustically treated, lots of soft surfaces. So pin boards in the classrooms, carpets and extra furnishings that will assist with that as well. And in that central space, you're seeing there as well some of the joinery that's part of the project. So there's bag storage, staff resource storage, you know, places for signage, places to sit, lots of different things there. And off back in the distance, you can see that discovery hub with the timber trusses, and all the way down the end is those little group, small group meeting spaces. So I think that probably covers it for now.
Thank you, Claire. So Leanne, I think it's back to you. So I'll just stop sharing this screen. Thank you.
Thank you. I think I did actually skip over a slide that I had intended to pop up a bit sooner. So I'll just go back to that for everyone now. We just sort of wanted to let you know a couple of things about, we've had a few questions come into the chat about some staff car parking. So I think somebody did put an answer in there as well, but you can see that we'll have some staff car parking at the end, north end of Mount Ridley Road. You will probably know where that is a lot better than me, and that the new gravel car park will be serviced by a pavement driveway between the car park gates and the crossover to the new Eastern Road. Trees, we wanted to talk about trees as well, because we know that there's that beautiful spine of trees that our architects showed that we're doing our best to retain as many of those as possible. Some will need to be removed. I think some already have been, to prepare the site for the works. And the VSBA does have a policy of planting at least 2 trees for each one that's removed. And I think in this project, we're actually planting quite a lot more than that. So that's good to know. And also, I know it's very important to the school, and as part of the building works, the school will be connected to mains water and mains sewer. I think we wanted to talk about some recycled drinking water, but I'm not the expert in that. If either Claire or Amanda wanted to talk to that, we can. Otherwise, we can get you all a little bit more information about that in our frequently asked questions sheet that we'll be providing to the school. Okay, so I will now, I think, would we like to just have a moment to have a look at the chat and answer some questions that have come in from people here? Let me just have a little bit of a look. I think we've answered a question about school growth numbers. So we're anticipating a population of 475. We've dropped that into the chat. A question about the gym. We know that that's a hot topic around the school, and we hope that in future rounds of funding that you can absolutely have a gym to complement the rest of your beautiful school. We also have here with us tonight some representatives from some of the projects, the road projects surrounding the school, and I'd like to invite them to talk to that for us as well tonight. Perhaps James, would you like to share your screen and talk to us about your project, please?
No worries. I'll just bring it up. Awesome. I hope you all can see this. So good evening, everybody. My name's James. I am the Senior Development Manager for the Highlands estate out in Craigieburn, which I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, actually live within Highlands. So I thought it'd be good today to come and join you and provide an update on the road networking around the school. Driving up at the moment, you probably don't see much that's there. It's just an empty paddock right now, with Mickleham Road and Mount Ridley Road being the real connections to the current existing school. So Stockland are actually the landowners of the adjacent land that goes around the school, and are looking to develop this site very shortly. So from a road perspective, we're looking to commence, I'll probably step back. There is a road that will need to be built on the northern side, the eastern side that goes north-south, and a road on the southern side that goes east-west. These roads are really important to be built before term 1 of 2023, before the opening of the school, to ensure that there is servicing as well as access for the school, both parents and teachers. So we're looking to commence those works in April of this year and have it complete prior to term 1 of 2023 for the opening of the upgrade. There was a question around drop-offs and how that would all work. So once these roads are fully open to the public, there is actually a dedicated drop-off, kiss and drop area, which runs along the northern side of that southern road and the western side of the northern road, of the north-south road. So that's actually will be dedicated in the times that are specified. So there'll be no parking in those times to allow for a kiss and drop to occur. I haven't got that detail shown on here, but there is definitely a plan for that. In regards to the intersections with Mount Ridley Road and Mickleham Road, those intersections will be left in, left out. So there will be no right turn initially onto Mount Ridley Road out of the eastern road, and there will be no right turn onto Mickleham Road out of the southern road. However, the development is going to be progressing. We're still going to be developing all the internal roads around the school, as you can see on the master plan to the right-hand side. And that connection will take you back to, I'll just point out with my cursor, there is a roundabout here to the east of the school, which has a north-south connection to an intersection that will be a four-leg signalised intersection. So you'll be able to do any turn that you would like at that intersection, turning right onto Mount Ridley Road, left onto Mount Ridley Road, or further north into the future development that's Satterley, that the Botanical site is. There's also going to be a future connection to the existing Craigieburn and Highlands via this, you can call it a north-south connector road. That connector road will connect you back to Grand Boulevard eventually, which is this road here, East-West Road. You can see where the Brook Rise logo is. And then it'll also connect you to Brookfield Boulevard, the existing Brookfield Boulevard connection back to existing Craigieburn. You're probably going to ask, I can't see the questions, but around timing and what that looks like to connect back into the existing development. So if we are looking to finish the connection of those roads around the school by term 1 of 2023, I'd anticipate that by mid-2024, there will be a connection back to the existing Craigieburn without having to do a left in, left out onto Mount Ridley Road or Mickleham Road. So that left in, left out connections are an interim until the ultimate development is built out. So it will only be, in that way for that period of time. That's sort of what I had from a way of an update. So we are on track to start early April. So you will see quite a bit of work happening in the area, especially with the construction works at the school, as well as our road works. There's currently road works on Mickleham Road, where Mickleham and Somerton Road is closed. Obviously, we appreciate your patience throughout the next year. It is going to be quite a bit of work happening. The roads will stay open. They just will be under traffic management for a period of time, but all works that are internal will be, will hopefully be finished by term 1 of 2023. Just check if there's any questions that have come up that I can answer.
Thanks, James. I think you answered it all
Did I?
brilliantly. Yes, I think you covered everything very well there. Thank you very, very much.
No worries.
All right. We also have with us tonight from Satterley, we have Jeremy. Are you there and with us, Jeremy? I can't see you myself right now, but yes, you're
Hi
there.
all.
Lovely. And I know that you had a small piece that you wanted to share with us as well. If you'd like to share
I'll
that now,
share
that
my
would be great.
screen, sure. Hope everyone can see that.
Yep.
Yeah, so hi everyone. Just a bit of an intro. I'm the development manager for Satterley, managing the Botanical estate in Mickleham. Just a bit of background. So this plan is essentially our overall roadworks diagram plan for the intersections that we're looking to construct along Mount Ridley and Mickleham Road. So probably just zone in on the area which is under construction now, which is Brossard, the intersection at Brossard Road and Mount Ridley Road. So we've currently started works on the northern carriageway within our property boundary, and we'll look to start works along Mount Ridley Road following the completion of the intersection at Craigieburn and Surbiton Road, which is approximately 4 weeks away. So we'll look to start works along Mount Ridley Road. Essentially, some of the works we will be undertaking will be under traffic management. So there will be periods of time where those 2 lanes essentially go down to 1 lane, which will be under traffic, which will be sort of contraflow with lollipop people in place. It will be a signalised intersection, and timing around completion, we are sort of targeting early 2023 for those traffic signals to be operational. And in terms of the intersection at Mount Ridley and Mickleham Road, essentially we're looking to start construction mid-year, where subject to council approvals, there'll be a bit of coordination around this with school pickups and drop-offs, because we will be doing some works within the road reserve of Mickleham Road. So there will be a bit of coordination with the school around this. This will be a signalised intersection as well. And in terms of timing, we're looking to have this completed by sort of mid-2023 for those traffic signals to be operational. There will be some native veg removed along Mickleham Road, but we're looking to retain as many trees as possible. Yeah. In terms of any questions.
Anybody would like, has any questions for Jeremy and they'd like to drop them in the chat, they're very welcome while we've got him here to answer them for us. Otherwise, you're welcome to send us, I'll pop some contact details up on the screen shortly, and you're welcome to send any questions that you think of later through to us, and we'll get those answered for you as well. So thank you. Nobody putting you in the hot spot there, Jeremy. So we'll assume that everyone's happy. Oh, we've got one question there. Can you see that one in the chat there, Jeremy? Ryan is asking us what the time frame for the Mount Ridley Mickleham Road intersection is.
It's approximately 12 months construction timeline. So we're looking to start works mid-year and have them completed by mid-2023. And that's including the traffic signals being operational.
Mm-hmm. And we've got another question there about a footpath along Mount Ridley Road.
So footpath along Mount Ridley. There'll be some curb. If you look at these, if I zoom in a little bit, there'll be some curb that's installed along the northern edge of Mount Ridley Road. And then footpath will be within our property boundary.
Okay. Lovely. Thank you very much. All right. I might pop some contact details up on the screen so that people that have got any other questions can email us at the VSBA. I've had one question that I don't know how to answer in here, team, about the green energy rating for the building. Is there anybody that can answer that one for us tonight, or is that something I can take on notice and get back to Matt, who's asked that question? No one's volunteered. Oh, yes, thank you, Claire.
I can. I'm sorry, I realised that I didn't put it to everyone. I only responded to you, so that wasn't very helpful. There is no formal Green Star process for this building. That's a very particular application system, and there is no formal process that we've gone under in terms of Green Star. But in terms of energy, we, first of all, there are standards that we need to meet, obviously, being with the Department of Education. There's also standards that we need to meet generally in Australia for this type of building, and they're modelled by environmental sustainable design engineers. So they put them through software to check that they perform thermally, and so the designs include insulation and roof types and things like that, which contribute to the energy performance. So.
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you very much for that, Claire. I'm going to just pop some contact details up so that you can all write those down and have a look at them. All right. Julie, is there anything that you felt that we haven't covered off? Do you think that we've got covered most people's questions? And I'm thinking of all of the pre-registered questions that came in, and I think we've answered all of those. I've been checking through those as we've been talking tonight. Again, if there's anything that anyone feels we haven't answered, they're welcome. Julie, over to you.
Yep. No, I think we have covered everything, and I think likewise we were aware of the questions as they were coming. So I think we have each of us addressed those in our presentations. So
lovely. All right, fantastic. All right, well, I'm going to let you all get back to your lives. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. I hope that you all enjoy your beautiful new school as it emerges, and we look forward to seeing it as it takes shape. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us tonight. Thank you to all of the team who jumped in to support us.